And so here's the latest on the Russia-Ukraine war, the other war. Over the weekend, Russia launched its most intense drone attack on Ukraine since the war started in 2022. The Russian attack focused on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, and according to the Ukrainian Air Force, Russia launched 75 Iranian-made Shahed drones, of which 66 were destroyed by the Ukrainian air defenses. The assault on Kyiv started at 4 a.m., continuing in waves for over 6 hours. It led to power outages in 77 residential buildings, 120 institutions. The attack has been described as the most massive air attack by drones on Kyiv.
Everything flew away here. You see, we've been collecting our lives. We are not same. Do you see what they did? Parasites. It went bang.
And as a result of the attack, 17,000 Ukrainian citizens went without power in Kyiv. The attack was carried out on the morning of Holodomor Memorial Day. It basically commemorates the man-made famine in Soviet Ukraine that killed millions of Ukrainians from 1932 to 1933. It is marked on the fourth Saturday in November.
It was knocked down and it fell on the kindergarten. As a result of this, there was a very strong explosion. We had a window blown out here on the first floor. The window opened and the entire blast wave and fire were in our corridor. We managed to run away with the child. Thank God we are all safe and alive. And in general, as you can see, many apartments were damaged. The glass flew out. People are still in shock.
At least 5 civilians were wounded in the hours-long assault, and several buildings were damaged, including a kindergarten. The wounded included an 11-year-old child. This has been the reality of Ukraine, battered by Russia's brutal war for almost 2 years now. In addition to Kyiv, the Sumy, Zaporizhia, Mykolaiv regions also were targeted, among others. In the city's Solimansky district, debris left a crater in the courtyard of a residential area, and the windows of a nearby building were blown out. Residents, most of them elderly, received medical attention at the scene. Others took shelter in a nearby subway station. On Sunday, Russia repelled Ukrainian attacks at multiple places. And according to the Russian MOD, their forces repelled attacks from the Ukrainian side in eastern and southeastern Ukraine. Russian forces also claim to have destroyed 2 air ammunition depots, multiple tanks, radar stations, as well as artillery pieces of Ukraine at different fronts. The Russian Air Defense Forces also shot down 2 Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jets, as per reports. They also claim to have intercepted 18 Ukrainian drones. Till yesterday, the Ukrainian forces claimed that their troops have engaged in 42 battles with Russia on the front line. The war is raging near the key city of Avdiivka. Meanwhile, the Russian forces have been trying to take over this key city in Donetsk, remember, and Russia's efforts have been focused on cutting off Ukrainian supply lines into Avdiivka so that it can isolate the city. Once a coal hub, Avdiivka has become the current flashpoint in the war. The city has seen relentless assault by Russian forces. Significant portions of the city, located near Donetsk city, are now held by Russian troops. The Ukrainian forces are trying to maintain control over a stretch of territory about 8 kilometers wide. That is how close the Russian troops are. The battle for Avdiivka is important to watch out, as victory over this city for Russians would mean control over the entire Donetsk region. The city, remember, briefly fell to Russian-backed separatists in 2014, and Ukraine has spent the last 9 years building defenses and trenches to protect the city. Nearly 2 years into the Russian invasion, approximately 3 kilometers separating Ukrainian positions from the Russian ones. And both sides exchange fire daily. Since June, Ukraine has been conducting a counter-offensive, remember, but it has still not made any significant gains there. Meanwhile, Russia has increased attacks on Ukraine.
We are not only watching infantry and equipment here, but also watching the sky. Shahids, missiles, airplanes, helicopters, everything we see we promptly report. Where it is flying, where it is coming from, what is the approximate height, and we report promptly. We have a radio, internet connection, a work phone, and we transmit all the coordinates of where it is coming from and where it is going. We not only make sure that Swaraj groups do not come in, but we also watch the sky. We listen and watch.
And as winter approaches and as the war enters a virtual stalemate, the Ukrainian soldiers will be facing their second year enduring the cold weather and the snow. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.